When we mobilize, nations change. And when we vote, we make history.
It's true, no matter how you vote. And we are now turning to a special report and panel discussion on this historic barrier that Kamala Harris has smashed, the first black woman to ever be a major party's presidential nominee in America's 248-year history. You see her standing out on this list of recent nominees, and of course it goes all the way back with her trailblazing campaign, now driving enthusiasm from our world of politics all the way to culture as it caps a long fight for representation.
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like! I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
That is as strong a start as you could ask for.
I think she's going to win. She seems very smart, very educated. She's vice president, and she'll do good.
Not going back can mean a rejection of the policies that have oppressed so many people in recent and far-gone history. It can also be a call to go forward towards a more enlightened and diverse leadership in this country, in contrast to the status quo. And while the color barrier fell at the White House now over 15 years ago with Obama, most racial breakthroughs have come through male leaders, reflecting how men held most leadership positions in the establishment and the civil rights movement alike. When the major leaders of most civil rights groups were gathering in the 60s and 70s, here's one such gathering, you would see a type of diversity, but you would also see all men, a template that's extended later in politics as some of those very successful and qualified leaders moved into politics and office. Take activist John Lewis, who went from civil rights work to becoming a congressman and really a national figure in the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris recently shared this image of her literally looking up to the late Lewis as memorialized in this mural. There is a great appreciation for what he did, but the barriers that were broken and the path that he paved from the civil rights movement into politics came out of that group I showed you, of men in civil rights. There's a different history for black women who also played a role in civil rights and activism and organizing, like Ella Baker.
I have had about 40 or 50 years of struggle. I had to learn that hitting back with my fist one individual was not enough. It takes organization. It takes dedication. It takes the willingness to stand by and do what has to be done.
Takes all that and more, and if it takes organization, those women who, as I'm reminding you, were in the struggle were not necessarily always given the organization or backing to then go directly into politics or business or other extended activities in American life. Those women faced more hurdles than men in politics. In total, black women may have made up 55 congresswomen and 93 mayors in America. And while voters do know Harris's candidacy is unusual, many people do not realize there have been very few times when Americans have had the opportunity to vote for a black woman in any top statewide offices whatsoever, the big positions in the states of governor or senator. Take the Senate's current composition, 89 white senators, 3 black men, and no elected black women. That's the composition of the Senate after Harris left. No black women left there. And she was only the second ever black woman to serve as senator. Now take the 50 governors. Right now, in America, 46 white governors, 1 black man, and 0 black women governors today. Indeed, there has never been a black female governor in the United States, ever. Voters may choose to end this color line at the White House, in other words, this year, before it has fallen in a single governor's mansion in a single state. That is a stark sign of just how rare Harris's bid is. As a black and Indian American woman, she's following the path of others who have broken barriers, like Dalip Singh Sandh, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, and Carol Moseley Braun, that first black female senator I mentioned before Harris, who also ran for president.
Breaking barriers, building bridges, bringing people together. I have been blessed to be an agent for change and progress.
Somebody's got to do it. It's not an overnight process. Just as Jesse Jackson registered voters and began a path for Obama all the way back in 1988, we can see that now. Harris allies know that Shirley Chisholm launched a then long-shot bid for president all the way back in '72 after years of bluntly confronting how, as she put it, quote, white males controlled policy and people's lives.
I feel that the cabinet and the department heads of this country must have women, must have blacks, and not be completely and totally controlled constantly by white males.
That was then, but as I've just shown you in the facts, that is also largely now. These historic milestones can also transcend partisanship, which is very important. We need civil rights breakthroughs totally separate from the endless red-blue debates. Former Congresswoman Mia Love was the first black woman elected to the House as a Republican, a good thing. Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, the first woman of color to take that post in Virginia. And beyond elective office, we've also seen black women rise in appointed leadership positions. Presidents in both parties have tapped leaders like Condi Rice, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Linda Thomas Greenfield. President Biden cemented a big part of his legacy for picking not only Harris, but the first black woman to ever serve on the Supreme Court. And that's in comparison to the 108 white men who have held those jobs in the court's history. The numbers show how rare and significant this moment is, and that's regardless of your gender or political affiliation or who you want to vote for in November. It's a big deal. Now, many people cheered Reagan putting the first woman on the Supreme Court. That is a diversity pledge that he made in advance, just as Biden took this next step and pledging to put a black woman on the court. It is a type of DEI. It is a well-known fact that Ronald Reagan brought that DEI approach to staffing the Supreme Court as a Republican. Fact. Now, that's the context for this moment in history and our discussion tonight as Kamala Harris runs for the White House. She won her first federal office the same night that Donald Trump won the presidency, and then rose quickly to be on her party's ticket in the very next presidential cycle. And along the way, she has invoked this long historical path of black women fighting and sometimes rising in civic and political life.
Kamala Harris will replace fellow Democrat Barbara Boxer as the next U.S. Senator from the Golden State.
Have now confirmed that Secretary Clinton has conceded to Donald Trump.
There's one star who hasn't been talked about tonight who is going to be talked about a lot, and her name is Kamala Harris.
Women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the black women who are too often overlooked, but so often prove they are the backbone of our democracy.
What Donald Trump is offering in terms of policy is as radical a departure from normal American politics as anything that has ever happened in any of our lifetimes.
Tonight I reflect on their struggle, their determination, and the strength of their vision to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And I stand on their shoulders.
What can be unburdened? And how do black women, as Harris put it, look at this next effort to calcify that backbone she mentioned so that we might have a pluralistic and imperfect democracy that improves? As you can see, we are here gathered in a special. We have not only some special guests I'm about to show you, but in a room here we have on the walls a lot of the experiences and the history that we want to learn from and that may yet inform the future. For this special discussion, we are joined by Maya Wiley, who's known for many things in her civil rights work, but in this context, a black woman who recently ran for mayor in New York, finishing second. That's America's largest city. Donna Edwards, the first black woman to represent Maryland in Congress. Lori Lightfoot, the first black woman mayor of Chicago. And we'll also ask about Kamala Harris's push to break the highest glass ceiling with a historian from her own alma mater when we return.